Next on What's the News Tonight, tension is high among voters hours before the nation decides who will be president. Plus, locked out, workers picket outside the headquarters of a Central Mass-based hardware chain.
Poll numbers are so negative for both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump that they will be, the day they're elected, the most unpopular president-elect in the history of the United States.
A lot of uncertainty and anticipation among voters for tomorrow's election. An election which will decide who will serve as our country's next president. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Madison. The two leading candidates taking the stage one last time tonight before tomorrow's election, and both candidates focusing on one New England state, which could be key in tomorrow's race. Republican candidate Donald Trump speaking tonight in Manchester, New Hampshire. He was joined by his running mate, Governor Mike Pence. Now, Trump won the New Hampshire primary earlier this year on his way to becoming the Republican nominee. Meanwhile, President Barack Obama spoke at the University of New Hampshire at a rally for Hillary Clinton. And many political experts say New Hampshire could be one of the swing states in this year's election. Well, in Massachusetts, one hotly contested race is ballot question 4. If passed, it would legalize marijuana for recreational use. Supporters say it is good for the economy, while opponents say it would do more harm than good. Our Catherine Andrioli has a closer look.
The legalization of recreational marijuana use is a hot topic here in Massachusetts, and on Election Day, voters will decide its fate with ballot question number 4.
My personal use, it does help me with a lot of anxiety and stress.
Adam Nguyen is an employee at a local vape shop. He is for the legalization of recreational marijuana.
It's a lot less harmful than other like prescription over-the-counter drugs or any type of prescription drugs you can get.
But not everyone feels the same. State Senator Michael Moore is against the legalization of marijuana. He says the tax revenue generated in Massachusetts would be drastically different than in other states.
The Colorado legislation and Washington state legislation, they tax the marijuana, the recreational marijuana, at 29 to 32%. The language in this bill and the referendum for tomorrow taxes it at 12%. So there's a drastic difference in the tax revenue that's going to be coming in.
Medical marijuana is legal in Massachusetts, with several medical dispensaries recently approved in Worcester. But Moore says there is a big difference between recreational use of marijuana and medical marijuana.
This is where the advocates for it are confusing it. I support medical marijuana, but the chemical component in medical marijuana is not THC.
Voters will ultimately decide on Tuesday, and with questions swirling about regulating the use of recreational marijuana and the tax revenue generated, many in central Massachusetts seem to be at odds about the bill.
It's regulated well enough, and like obviously it doesn't get out of hand. I don't really see what's wrong with it.
This referendum alone, just on the fact of weight of the language in the bill, it's a poorly written bill. There's a lot of contradictions to it, and it will not meet the expectations that we've had out in Colorado and Washington State.
That was Catherine Andrioli reporting. Now, tomorrow's election may have you wondering where your polling site is or what the latest election results are, and one of the best ways to get the information could be on your phone. There are several apps available which could help voters navigate Election Day tomorrow. We got a look at the Voter app as well as Election Central and election polls today at the AT&T store in Worcester, and one app could help you pick the right candidate.
And there are 5 different levels to it, so it's kind of cool. It gives you, you can just skim the surface if you want to, or you can really find out how you stand. And I think it's kind of interesting because it leads you through some of those issues that maybe you haven't had time to really think about. And if you're really undecided, it gives you an idea where you would maybe fall.
As a reminder, while we do use our phones for everything, it is not a good idea to take a selfie at the voting booth with your ballot in the picture. Well, speaking of voting, thousands have already cast ballots in Worcester, and tomorrow thousands more are expected at the polls. The race for the White House seems to have many on edge tonight. Our Brittany Schaefer spoke to voters about their concerns for tomorrow.
It's going to be a good fight. I think most people are going to be glued to their TV.
Hours from Election Day, and it's still anyone's guess who will win the race for the White House. Political analyst Guy Glotis says regardless of the result, it will be democracy at its finest.
It's going to be unique because you're going to have one of the largest voter turnouts that we've ever had. Now, granted, a majority of those people might be coming out to vote against someone.
The latest polls show a tight race between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. It has some Worcester residents anxious.
Of the two evil, I'll pick her over him any day. I hope he doesn't get in. I hope and pray. I'm praying.
I guess Trump's releasing two evils. I can see that there would be a sizable portion of the population that wouldn't like it either way.
Clinton has been on the defense after the FBI's most recent look into her emails, and Glotis says it could hurt her campaign.
The week leading up to the election, he was on the offense, Hillary was on the defense. The momentum is certainly with Donald Trump.
I just think he's like more honest. She's kind of like the cookie cutter, like politician, and I guess it's just a nice change of pace to see someone that's a little different.
On the other hand, Glotis says Donald Trump will need to win key swing states like Pennsylvania, Florida, and North Carolina.
The electoral map certainly favors Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump would basically have to go 6 for 6 in swing states to be able to win this.
Worcester voters have differing opinions on their reaction if the opposite candidate won.
I'd be a little scared where the country is going.
I mean, I guess you have to accept the winner.
We need a woman for change.
I am looking forward to it being over with.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Dozens of union workers off the job today and picketing outside Aubuchon Hardware.
We want to work! We want to work! We want to work!
This was the scene at Aubuchon's warehouse in Westminster. For the past several months, the company had been trying to negotiate a contract. Today, members of the Local 170 claim the company locked the workers out when they showed up for work this morning. Workers say they were shocked by the company's move.
We sat down, we've been negotiating in good faith, we were making great progress, and we were shocked this morning to find out that our members were locked out. Members just want to work. This is an attack on workers. The company wants to outsource their jobs to a company in West Virginia. That's good Massachusetts jobs. These people all live in the town and they just want to work.
The union represents 60 warehouse workers. Aubuchon Hardware's president said in a video the union voted to strike and says after years of working together, he's not sure why the union is trying to restrict how the company makes decisions. The Worcester Regional Airport celebrating a milestone in service today. It was 3 years ago today when JetBlue Airlines started offering flights out of Worcester. Today, they have daily flights to Florida. To date, the airline has flown more than 350,000 passengers from Worcester Regional Airport to Orlando and Fort Lauderdale. A traffic note for anyone traveling on I-290 this evening. A portion of the road will be closed near the Belmont Street Bridge. 290 westbound will be closed and detoured at exit 18, so drivers will go through Lincoln Street to Major Taylor Boulevard and re-enter 290 at the East Central Street on-ramp. All lanes on 290 West are expected to reopen at around 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Staying in Worcester, police are looking for the driver of a car that dragged an elderly man over the weekend. The incident happened on Sunday at the intersection of Sycamore and Beacon Streets. Police say a 66-year-old man suffered injuries to his chest when he was dragged about 90 feet down the road. Investigators believe the victim was leaning into the vehicle before it drove off.
The male victim was leaning into the vehicle and was speaking with the occupant or occupants. We're not quite sure yet how many people were in the vehicle. So we're under the impression that they at least knew each other, perhaps. And at one point, the vehicle sped off with the individual half in the vehicle, half out of the vehicle.
There is limited suspect information at this time. The victim is believed to be in stable condition. And in Spencer, police need your help finding the person who did this. Police tweeted out this picture of graffiti. It was found at the Old Lake Street School. Anyone with information is asked to contact Spencer.